Когда ждать тебя в октагоне? Скоро новости?
Ну, у нас уже на процентов 90 есть договоренность, наверное, в ноябре.
I'm going to have to 1,000,000% agree with Khabib. I think this is our toughest test, and this is Khabib, and my biggest responsibility is to make sure we get Islam on tip-top shape and ready to...
He's going to knock him out, and I believe him. I honestly believe him, because I just think he's not going to be able to hand with him on the scrambles, or when he gets back up. He's going to, like, Della is just so stoic. And he just, like you said, focuses on his own game.
The other thing is, too, is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilya, so.
But he's gonna say, that's the fight they have ahead. They're not gonna say, no, we are fighting an easier opponent than Ilya. He has to say that. There's always respect. Of course. How you cannot respect, like, people who's fighting for their dreams and they work hard.
Islam Makhachev just dropped a bombshell. He says he's going to beat Jack Della Maddalena the same way he handled Volkanovski, and with a possible super fight lined up at UFC 322 in November, fans are already buzzing. This one's going down at welterweight, and by the sound of it, both camps are taking this matchup very seriously.
I think Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal. The striking on the feet, I think it's easier than Bilal, because he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style.
Will you pick Volk's brain?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely plan. After the last two fights, I've spent a bit of time in Wollongong. So yeah, I think probably the first stop. We go to Wollongong, talk to Volk, see what he reckons. Watch all his fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on ways to beat him, different ways to get back to my feet, stuff in the takedown, but I'm pretty confident I can get this one done.
In a recent interview, Islam said the fight is pretty much locked in. He mentioned there's a 90% chance it happens in November, and while UFC hasn't officially announced the event yet, all signs are pointing to Madison Square Garden as the venue. That would make it a huge stage for what's shaping up to be one of the biggest fights of the year.
Ислам, привет, расскажи, как ты соскучился по боям вообще там, нет?
Ну нет, еще так не успел соскучиться. Сегодня приехал поддержать наших ребят.
Когда ждать тебя в октагоне? Скоро новости?
Ну, у нас уже на процентов 90 есть договоренность, наверное, в ноябре.
Now, let's talk about why this fight is so interesting. Jack Della Maddalena has been on a crazy run. He's undefeated in the UFC and just captured the welterweight title with a sharp win over Belal Muhammad. This fight with Islam will be his first title defense, and it's already being called his biggest challenge yet. But what's wild is that many people think Islam is actually the one with more to prove here, not JDM.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, you know, over 205, 210 to the 215. Some of the guys that I've faced would walk around at that weight. I mean, I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria.
Echoing the same, Khabib Nurmagomedov recently gave his take, and it surprised a lot of fans. He said JDM is the toughest fighter Islam has ever faced. In fact, Khabib even said he's more worried about JDM than he would be if Islam fought Ilia Topuria. That's a big statement, considering Topuria just became the lightweight champ.
Считаю, что Мадалена самый сложный соперник в Ислама карьере. Мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, никто. Ни один из этих бойцов.
И даже не Илья, если бы это бой был бы.
Khabib explained that JDM has way more size than Topuria. He's taller, has a bigger frame, stronger legs, and on top of that, his boxing is slick, and his scrambling on the ground is impressive. He said if he had to prepare Islam for either one of those guys, he'd be more stressed out about JDM, no question.
Ну, мое личное мнение, во-первых, Мадалена 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Сопоставим.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощнее, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг, он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Для меня, если я, например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или Мадален, и для меня больше будет волновать и волнует Мадалена.
Not only Khabib, but Islam's longtime coach, Javier Mendez, also agrees with Khabib. He said that JDM is the hardest challenge they've had so far, and that it's now on both him and Khabib to make sure Islam is in perfect shape for this test.
I'm gonna have to 1,000,000% agree with Khabib. I think this is our toughest test, and this is Khabib and my biggest responsibility is to make sure we get Islam on tip-top shape and ready to do what we think and we believe he will do, and that's win.
According to Javier, what makes JDM dangerous isn't just the fact that he's unbeaten, it's that he mixes things up so well in the cage. He goes body, head, kicks, and his takedown defense is on point. That makes him a real threat, especially against a grappler like Islam.
I think what makes JDM so dangerous, number one, he's unbeaten for quite a while. Yep. He's had quite a long win streak, and the fact that this guy mixes it up extremely well. He goes to the body, to the head. He doesn't just stick head hunting. He mixes it all up. He goes body, punch, boom, and then all of a sudden a kick comes. And with him, his takedown defense is really, really good also. So we are not in a situation where we can think, oh, we're gonna go to the ground and no, we gotta see what he's gonna give us. And we have to, we're gonna have to make him give us something, because I don't know if he's going to. He's really that good.
Moving on, Israel Adesanya also gave his prediction and leaned toward JDM winning. He thinks that once the quick ground movements start, Islam might not be able to keep up. Izzy pointed out how calm and focused JDM stays in every fight and believes that kind of mindset could really mess with Islam's game plan.
He's gonna knock him out, and I believe him. I honestly believe him, because I just think he's not gonna be able to hand with him on the scrambles, or when he gets back up. He's gonna, like, Della is just so stoic. And he just, like you said, focuses on his own game. And when he does that, I really think he's gonna get him. And I can't wait till that happens. And wherever it is, I'm gonna be there.
There's always been this aura around Islam because of his dominance and his Dagestani wrestling, but let's not forget, he has lost before. Back in 2015, he got knocked out by Adriano Martins, and in his fights with guys like Alexander Volkanovski and Dustin Poirier, we saw that Islam isn't unbeatable. When fighters manage to stand up after takedowns and box with him, they've had some success.
What I love about Jack Della and what he did with Bilal is he will, you get people that are worried about the takedown, so like, and then they don't fight their fight on the feet. I'm gonna fight my fight and worry about the takedown when it's there.
Exactly.
And that's perfect. You need to be like that. For me, like with Islam, was like, I'm gonna do my thing. Yeah, I'll be worried about it, but at the same time, find the shots to go in, boom, boom, boom. But I'll worry about the takedown when they're there, but I'll still commit to things.
Once you realize you can handle it, then you were just like, fuck this shit, I can handle it.
And the confidence Jack Della is going to have now from getting through that, even though he's going to be confident. And then there's another one when you're successful with guys that are very dominant there. When you have the success there, then all of a sudden you're like, okay.
And that's exactly how JDM won his belt. He kept the pressure on Bilal Muhammad with sharp boxing, great movement, and solid takedown defense. If he can pull that off again against Islam, this fight could get real interesting real fast.
Even that much better at takedown, and then he's going to do a lot. We're actually going to get a bit of training in and that as well. Like obviously he's going to do
over there.
Hey?
You going over there?
You'll probably come over here, or maybe we'll get we'll see. I might even go over there, whatever they want. I'm happy to do whatever.
I'm just so happy, man. I'm so proud of him, because it's like Anzac United, whenever one of us does it.
Danny Roberts, one of JDM's earlier opponents in the UFC, also shared his thoughts. He said that when he fought JDM, he felt that pressure immediately. Even though their fight didn't last long, he saw firsthand how good Jack really is. According to Roberts, people look at fighters like Islam and think they're untouchable because of the whole Dagestani image built around guys like Khabib. But he reminded fans that everyone's human, and Islam is no exception. He said, "Everyone's human, right? There's been this aura around Russians and Dagestanis since Khabib, who was one of the greatest athletes of all time with what he's done. It gives a kind of sense of immortality with this place in the world. Being in there with JDM, you immediately feel the pressure and hands that he's got. I've been able to watch his performances after our fight and seen him grow. I think he's a force to be reckoned with for sure." Another person with a strong opinion is Dan Hardy. He's always been bold with his takes, and this time, he's riding with JDM. Hardy said that Jack just looked way too sharp against Bilal and questioned how Islam would even look at welterweight. He doesn't think Jack is going to lose, and that prediction is making waves in the MMA world.
But Della Maddalena looked very, very sharp against Bilal. And I wonder what Makhachev would look like as a welterweight, you know, whether he would look as strong and as lean, or whether he would look heavier and, you know, potentially gas himself out because he'd be stepping straight into a 5-round fight, wouldn't he?
It's interesting that you say that, because JDM beat Bilal to become the champion, and for me that performance now brings interest into a fight with Islam. Like before this, I would be like, I think Islam would beat JDM, you know, just going off the Gilbert Burns fight. But after the fact that he was able to stop all Bilal's takedowns and look so good against him, it's almost like Bilal isn't Islam, but what JDM was able to do against Bilal, right, shows us what he might be able to do against Islam.
And of course, Dustin Poirier also chimed in. Dustin broke it down from a technical point of view and said that the early rounds are gonna tell the full story. If Islam gets the takedown early, he'll probably control the fight. But if JDM can stop those takedowns, then it could be a different night altogether. Dustin added that JDM's boxing and size could wear on Islam, especially over multiple rounds.
How do you think he does against JDM? I think the beginning of the fight's going to tell the story, like how well JDM does at getting up, how well JDM does at keeping Islam off of his feet, off of his legs, off of the cage. It's tough to call that because JDM's a big guy, athletic. I'm excited about that. A lot of fun fights in the future.
He also pointed out that Islam's striking is a bit awkward, and when you have to constantly worry about being taken down, it messes with your timing and rhythm. If JDM can keep the fight standing and force Islam into uncomfortable exchanges, it could turn into a long night for the former lightweight champ.
He's a big guy. I think he's going to fill into that weight. He's a really big 155er. So I think his lifestyle outside of training camp is going to be a little more comfortable, and he'll fill into that weight class, no problem. He could be champion there for sure.
The interesting part is, if Islam beats JDM, there's already talk of him facing Ilia Topuria next. Dana White mentioned that the UFC might line that up immediately. That would be a wild super fight between the lightweight and welterweight champs, especially if Islam captures gold in a second division.
Another massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I got to make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is, too, is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
could that be, if Islam gets one victory, could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do, sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or, you know, hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical. These are options that we have if things play out that way.
But none of that will matter if he can't get through Jack Della Maddalena. And based on everything his teammates, coaches, and fellow fighters are saying, this might be Islam's biggest mountain to climb.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for, wow, that's impressive, you know. I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Bilal.
Bilal has the best cardio in MMA, but Bilal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Bilal never stops. A dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know.
The fight hasn't been officially announced yet, but with both sides saying it's almost done, it looks like we're heading toward a massive clash at UFC 322. Whether it's MSG or somewhere else, fans around the world are going to be tuning in to see if Islam Makhachev can conquer welterweight or if JDM continues his undefeated run.
Quem que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é jogo muito complicado, porque ele é cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Isla vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte. É um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta. Mas se deixar o Isla agarrar e botar pra baixo, é o time.
This isn't just another fight. This is a legacy-defining moment for both men. For JDM, it's about proving that he belongs with the best in the world. For Islam, it's about moving up, taking risks, and chasing greatness across weight classes. Whoever wins this fight could end the year as one of the biggest names in all of MMA.
What he's gonna say, that's the fight they have ahead. They're not gonna say, no, we are fighting a easier opponent than Ilya. He has to say that. There's always respect. How you cannot respect like people who's fighting for their dreams and they work hard. But another thing is that when it comes to the competition, me against you, I'm always gonna choose myself.
And that's the full breakdown, folks. Islam versus JDM is shaping up to be an absolute war, and no matter who you're backing, it's clear this fight could shake up the entire welterweight division. Can Islam dominate another weight class? Or will Jack Della Maddalena prove he's the real deal and stop the Dagestani machine in his tracks? Let us know what you think. Drop your predictions in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest fight news, call-outs, and matchup drama. Hit that bell so you don't miss a second of the action. We've got way more heat coming your way, and trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming up next on Ring Rivalry.